Hello, we'll now continue with our demonstration of deploying a TKG management cluster on vSphere using the user interface. We're now at step 4 in the UI, which is metadata. I'm not actually going to do anything here. It's all completely optional. As you can see, there's some guidance about descriptions and location, but essentially it's all about adding labels to your environment so you can differentiate once again the different management clusters that you deploy. But as I said, I'm going to skip over this step and go straight on to the resources. So this is where our TKG cluster in the form of virtual machines will be deployed and where we want to deploy them to and what resources we want to consume. You can see there's all the different virtual machine folders that are available in my Octo data center, which I selected back in step 1, are available for selection. You can narrow it down here. I'm going to put them all into a folder called TKG. Now, this is interesting insofar as this vCenter server seems to be managing multiple clusters. So one of the things you have to make sure here is that when you select a cluster, that the data store that you select is also available in that cluster. So you may need to log into the vSphere client to verify this or talk to your vSphere administrator. I know for a fact that my vSAN Octo Cluster A data store is available in the Octo Cluster A compute cluster, for want of a better description. So I'm going to choose the two of those as the destination data store and destination cluster for my TKG management cluster. The last thing I'm going to show you in this particular configuration then is to do with the network. Now, once again, we've done some networking back with the VMware NSX Advanced Load Balancer, but the load balancer only provides the virtual IPs or the load balancer IPs for the applications that I deploy in my cluster, as well as the Kubernetes API server. What we're looking for at this point is what network is going to be used by the nodes themselves. And my nodes, my TKG cluster nodes, will be deployed onto a network which is VM51DPG. So this is the virtual network on which the TKG nodes will be deployed. You can leave the cluster service CIDR and the cluster pod CIDR. These are the internal networks used by Kubernetes. They can be left at the default, or you can change them as you so wish. The final step we have here then are the proxy settings. If you want to go and set up a proxy, and you can see here that you can set up a HTTP proxy URL. You can also include username and passwords as well if your proxy supports that. And there's also the option to set up a HTTPS proxy, or you can just duplicate what you set for the HTTP proxy above. The final field here is no proxy, in other words, bypassing the proxy for particular ranges of IP addresses and so on. However, I do not use a proxy in my environment, so I will be leaving that disabled and selecting next to move on to the identity management. And that's where we'll leave this demonstration. We will come back to the identity management and looking at an LDAP or secure LDAP configuration in the next demonstration.